After doing Andy Galpin's $10,000 sleep program, I didn't realize how bad my sleep actually was.
You're leaving gains on the table. You're leaving performance and success by not sleeping at your best. Improving things like your speed, your reaction time, your body composition, VO2 max, all of these things have been demonstrated to improve when you even just go from good to great sleep.
As a part of the Absolute Rest program, they have 4 major things that they were testing me on. 1 was physiological, 2 environmental, psychological, and behavioral.
Typically, when we take an approach to helping people with their sleep, it's a sleep medicine approach. So we're looking at the physiology first.
All right, on my way to do my LabCorp test for Absolute Rest, there's a ton of things you can do, like 10 days before collection, 2 days before collection, the night before. I would make sure you read these instructions at least 2 weeks before you're going to do the test.
And I've done a ton of blood tests, but this one had profiles that were specific around sleep, stress, and a variety of other things that I didn't know about.
We partnered with LabCorp to develop the first sleep-specific blood test that's available in the US.
They sent me a form to LabCorp or Quest. I ended up going to the LabCorp location and getting my blood test in the morning, fasted.
All right, I just finished my blood test at LabCorp here, and she had to take like so many vials.
We took a lot of blood from you, as you remember, but we're looking at factors in your blood that may be causing a sleep issue, micronutrient imbalances, mineral deficiencies. The next thing we're looking for is factors in your blood that may be indicative of a sleep disorder or a sleep problem, inflammatory markers, lipid profiles, and a variety of other things as well.
She's like, I need to get another basket. There's a lot more tests than probably standard, but sat there, she's like, are you passed out? She kept asking me, are you okay? Are you okay? What's nice about LabCorp and Quest is they integrate with Apple Health, so it's automatically going to notify me in Apple Health when my results are ready, and 2, I'll get an email as long as I sign up for their specific dashboards. The Absolute Rest doctor's gonna get the info as well once that's ready.
Please note that I paid for the Absolute Rest Elite Sleep Program myself, but if you want to support the channel, go ahead and click the link in my description. Use my discount code. That'll help support us so we can keep making videos like this. The next stage was measuring my air quality levels in the atmosphere in my bedroom.
It turns out that a lot of people have issues related to the environment they sleep in, and they don't recognize them. That often goes unseen and undiscussed within sleep medicine. So measuring the environment that you're sleeping in and also taking data sets from the environment is actually really important. So we do that.
And they shipped me this air quality monitor that's supposed to be one of the best. And why is it this one versus like all the other brands?
Because we can get everything that we need.
Whoa. And so this is gonna measure CO2, particulate matter, formaldehyde.
We're looking at temperature, humidity, and light.
Interesting.
We're measuring your physiology at such a high resolution and the environment at a high resolution. Anything that's happening in your environment, we get to measure exactly how that impacts your physiology. So we can start to determine what a truly optimal environment is for you.
And then behavioral and psychological were tests that we did in person.
If you have sleep disordered breathing, for instance, or restless leg syndrome, we have a way to treat that. But if you've developed behaviors around that problem over years, we have to unwind those as well.
And the CEO himself, Josh Rubin, came to interview me and ask a ton of questions.
You know, this morning we talked about the fact that we don't want to do anything other than sleeping in our bed. Is there anything that comes to mind in sleep or sex?
No. Yeah, I'm a very big believer on the no working or...
Great, okay.
Scroll? Okay, fine.
Okay, yeah, let's be honest.
All right,
that's important.
I scroll in bed.
Okay, great. What do you scroll?
Instagram or TikTok or YouTube.
Okay, is this every night that you're doing that?
Yeah.
We're here to be honest.
We're here to be honest. The confession comes out.
How many hours of outdoor sunlight do you get on a daily basis?
Let's see, time in daylight, 38 minutes average, it looks like. So yeah, I guess 30 minutes right now.
Some major things that I really need to work on is not having artificial light exposure at night, so cutting out social media, eating too close to bedtime, which I sometimes do because I work out late, not working out too late, so avoiding high intensity exercise that just stimulates my body close to bedtime, and just keeping my bed as a sleeping place and nothing else.
That was like 100 questions, so
Hey, I'm
feeling good?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now we're gonna move to the psych evaluation, which I'm gonna like give you my laptop so you can do it on yourself.
To some degree, considerable.
There is not a single psychiatric disorder on the planet that doesn't have a very specific impact on sleep. The sleep of someone with generalized anxiety will look very different than the sleep of someone with major depressive disorder. In the future, I'm expecting sleep to actually be a vehicle for objective diagnosis of psychiatric conditions, and it'll also be used as a means of monitoring the treatment and the efficacy of the treatment. How was that?
It was good. It was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
So in like a
Pretty
normal
thorough.
setting, someone would do that on the app or the website?
Correct.
Okay.
After the interview, it was time to do the sleep test.
And that's to find out if there's anything specifically wrong with your sleep breathing, your brain while you're sleeping, your movements while you're sleeping.
And then what are these pieces?
Those are the sensors. That's what's actually collecting the data.
Okay. And the CEO, Josh himself, came and did the sleep test in my apartment, so I'm very grateful for that. So I'm going to be wearing 4 sensors essentially.
Yep.
Nasal passageway device?
Yes.
And that's everything.
We have a cutting edge system that is able to take all of the same data that you'd get collected in a clinical sleep lab from your own bed.
Like where are these going to be placed?
Yeah, so there's just going to be one sensor placed on your leg.
And that needs to be fully shaven in that area?
Yes. We'll need you to shave your chest where this...
Okay. Did I do it right?
Yep.
And did I do that part right as well?
You did it more than right.
Okay.
You shaved more than you needed to. Next up, we're going to do your flow sensor. So this is going to go right above your navel.
Should I have shaved that too?
Yes.
Uh-oh. Is that normal? Do people do that? Or they usually shave the entire chest?
The whole thing. That one is going to hold the cannula in place. That's going to be measuring airflow coming out of your nose. So that's measuring your cardiac function and your lungs throughout the night.
I have to sleep with this on all night?
You do.
Then the next step would be putting the sensors in?
Correct.
For their elite program, he does sometimes go and show up to your house and help you get ready with the test, so you don't have to really think about it, and it's very effortless.
Does it matter what time I go to bed now?
Now it would be best for you to go to bed.
Go to bed right away?
Like soonish, yeah.
Okay.
Feel free to stay up and read or something, but
Yeah. Scroll through TikTok?
yeah, that's great. That's the worst thing you could do for your sleep. The thing that kills people is not blue light, it's novelty. For example, long form YouTube is less bad than TikTok.
I think CEO Josh just said that you should subscribe and turn on my notifications so you can keep watching my long-form YouTube videos. I also do have 2 podcasts coming out with Dr. Andy Galpin and Dr. Jeffrey Dermer, jumping into exercise, hybrid athletes with Galpin, and then sleep and the sleep science with Dr. Dermer. So make sure to stay tuned for that.
Cool.
Is it green?
Yes.
So as long as these stay on
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. You can roll around in bed as much as you want to do whatever you need to do.
3 smart rings, a watch, 2 watches. All right. Maximize our EMF radiation. I already wear way too many trackers. Atmo cube connected. Saliva test for the morning. I'm gonna spit in each of these tubes.
Correct.
At the times that you'll tell me. Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna put this into the freezer.
Yep.
And then in this bag.
Yes.
And then they go off. Okay.
Now I just need to sleep.
Yeah.
10:07 p.m. and I'm gonna go to bed. I think I should have shaved my beard and my chest and my legs. I'm a little anxious that's gonna come off, but Josh said relax, it's fine. Yeah, I don't know what to expect. So we're gonna go to bed and I'll talk to you in the morning. We have a saliva test I need to do, so we put that right here. So I'm ready to go. And I'm a deep sleeper, so I was able to just pass out very easily and just slept with all that stuff on me. I just woke up. Need to fill this thing up with spit. Alright, good morning. Ooh. That's the sensor going off. You said pop it out and put it in the bag. And it looks really weird, and that's why they do the test 2 nights in a row. Ooh. And I gotta do it at home, so I get the comfort of my home. I do get this weird thing on me, but hopefully on the second night, I get a little bit more comfortable, so that way the data is not way off from what it might be without the electronics on me.
So I guess a big thing we learned yesterday was that every part of your body needs to be shaved. where the sticky tape is going on.
Something to kind of keep in mind tonight is comfort is more important. We're not worried about these falling off of you throughout the night.
What about the nose piece is not stuck on?
The nose piece, if it falls off, that's actually a fail-safe. We're getting data from this and from your chest sensor at the same time. So it's measuring basically the same thing.
All right.
Yeah.
That reassures me.
Yeah.
It's a muscle sensor?
Yes, it's an EMG sensor.
EMG sensor. I feel like I'm going to find out that I have restless leg syndrome. There was a little tight, so I could feel it around my ears, but tonight I'm gonna make sure it's on there, but it's not super tight. And I think just knowing that it's gonna get good data, and if I worry about it, it's gonna mess up my data, so I shouldn't worry about it to get the best data. So there's 2 nights because
symptoms present more or less in different nights, so there's variability. Your legs may move one night, but they may not move the next. The next thing is there's this really kind of well-documented phenomenon that happens called the first night effect, where if your sleep is being measured at all, your sleep quality will be affected by that. We like to do one night, and then the second night you have moved past that phenomenon and you're used to having the sensors on you.
Right? Is there
Yeah,
else?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna
Tuck him into bed?
Probably not. Not going to do that.
No tuck-ins?
No tucking. That's not something we offer yet.
After the sleep test, I got to go jump on a call with Dr. Jeffrey Dermer, who went over my results, and we learned a couple things.
Hey, Shervin. How's it going?
So actually, building the baseline is our first step. And that allows us to also understand what objectively we're going to be measuring after we start experiments. We start adding things or taking things away.
First off, your blood work looked really good across the board.
Psychologically, you're doing fantastic as it pertains to your sleep as well. We didn't see anything that was concerning there.
And your sleep itself just has some areas that we're going to help to improve, which may have significant improvement in terms of your recovery, which will improve your athletic performance, but also just your cognitive performance may improve as well. So one thing you see through the oxygen levels, we like to see people staying above 90% all night long. That's pretty much what you did, but you did have drops, as you can see. So some of these drops went down into the 80s. In your case, we saw not really apneas, airway complete closures, but near narrowings, which actually reduce flow, and that's called a hypopnea. We found that it actually occurred during REM sleep. It's pretty common, but people don't know about it for years until something happens, like they have hypertension all of a sudden, or they have cardiometabolic disease. Typically, that's something we want to record over more time. So one of the things we want to do is get more data, because the next steps for treating things like REM-related sleep disorder breathing involve a number of potential interventions, starting just basically on keeping the airway open at night, so using anything that improves nasal airflow, all the way up to using oral appliances. Eventually, if necessary, moving to something like positive airway pressure.
This idea of moving sequentially through these types of treatments, I wish there were more of around the United States. But today, if you were to go to a sleep lab and they were to see a problem like this, they're going to prescribe you a CPAP.
CPAP machines and what they do at all?
Kind of like if they blow air into you. That's like, what happens if I don't get one of these? Is my sleep just gonna be bad?
You will basically treat your sleep apnea so you won't have those anymore.
Okay.
Even if sometimes mild sleep disordered breathing that wouldn't really necessitate, but they get prescribed one anyways. And now they have this aggressive therapy that can cause other issues, like long-term. It's not a totally benign thing.
Our concept here is, as Josh said, take it stepwise, figure out what works, and it doesn't make your sleep feel worse. That's one of the things that we find with PAP therapy. It's very hard to adjust to in many cases. It's not just one thing here. There's a combination of things that are probably conspiring to cause what we call hyperarousal. One thing we saw here, as you can see, leg movements. So periodic leg movements that occur in a rhythmic kind of fashion, are something that are associated with symptoms of restless leg syndrome. And that can actually cause cortical arousal and basically keep you out of your deeper stages of sleep, which is where you really are going to benefit. Have you had restless feelings or uncomfortable urges to move?
Like right now, my leg is just going up and down.
Moving a lot?
Yeah. So I do that a lot.
You mentioned, I think, also in your intake that you have a history of ADHD. Is that something that you've been diagnosed with, or you think you have?
Yeah, I was diagnosed with it.
Yeah. So RLS and ADHD go hand in hand. They're actually both very similar in the sense that they rely on a neurochemical called dopamine. When we give people with RLS a little bit of a medication that increases dopamine function in the evening in particular, their sleep gets better. Feeling like I have to move goes down. I would say, well, let's try some experiments to see if we can get your sleep better first before we go to any medical interventions like that.
They gave me experiments to run based on these results, and I would measure it with the sleep lens device that they have to better understand, is this experiment working or not? Should I maintain that new behavior, or is it not even worth continuing? I think this is one of the most fascinating and potentially most impactful sleep technologies being released. If you want to purchase the sleep lens ring, click the link in my description, use my discount code. It'll save you some money and it will help support the channel.
We're going to be providing you with basically a weekly protocol of, okay, here are the 3 things that we're going to implement this week, and we're going to observe the impact of those on your sleep and let you know if that's something that we want you to continue or if it's okay to cease that.
The first week was all about relaxation, so dimming the lights before bed, avoiding exercise after 6 p.m., no social media after 9 p.m., bit hard, and then using relaxing sounds 30 minutes before bed. The goal was to understand, will this impact my RLS, and will it help me calm down and allow me to just sleep better at night? And what was amazing is I got to go actually to Dr. Jeffrey Dermer's house and interview him and ask about my results in person.
This is the behind the dashboard of
the data uploaded from the ring as well.
So I've got both. This is your data. This is your baseline data. But the areas that we talked about changing involved a little bit of the REM-related sleep apnea that we mentioned, that we saw. A hyperarousal. In other words, your sympathetic nervous system was activating a little too much before sleep, and that's what the cortisol levels were elevated to. And then restless leg syndrome, which actually could be one of the causes for hyperarousal. So a lot of these things are related, interrelated. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to continuously follow you objectively with the PPG analysis, with the autonomic nervous system analysis.
Okay.
And again, this is different because polysomnography is every 30 seconds of data, and somebody has to make a judgment. What is going on in this 30 seconds? Autonomic nervous system is just a readout, dividing out your sleep into stable non-REM sleep, unstable non-REM sleep, and REM sleep, and wake. Let's take a look at your data. Now, if I want to look at individual nights, so just look at last night. Quality level was good. 72. Your sleep efficiency, which is how much time you slept while in the bed, very good. So your time was lower, right? So you had less time in bed. So it was improved efficiency. Your apnea index, however, apnea-hypopnea index was 18. So above 15 puts you into the moderate zone. Up to 30 and over 30 is considered severe by numbers, just by the number of times it happened. It doesn't mean it had a severe effect on your cardiovascular system.
Because my apnea events are in my REM sleep, is the REM technically the sleep where your brain is recovering?
Different. It's actually more, I look at it this way. Deep non-REM sleep's brain, tissue, neurotransmitters. Now, your mind, if we separate mind from brain here, the activity of the limbic system in particular during REM, that's one of the things that we believe actually improves your mental function and your emotional regulation. If it becomes more of an issue, it actually leads to mental health issues. We don't have those risk factors worked out very well, but we do know people who are alcoholics, for instance. If they relapse into alcoholism, first thing that changes weeks before they go back to drinking is their REM latency changes.
Really?
Yeah. At this point, I think the only thing physiologic we would treat would be your breathing. And we'll do it conservative first and move towards additional therapies as we go. Behaviorally, lots of different things that, everybody uses alcohol from time to time, caffeine from time to time, but being aware of the impact is really important. So we actually called out, what alcohol can do, and actually it causes it's a REM inhibitor. So REM apnea is one of the things that we're talking about. So anything that changes your REM cycles could eventually actually make your apnea worse. And so alcohol can make apnea of all kinds worse, but it also inhibits your REM and you end up having more REM later at night. That can actually cause your REM apnea to increase as well. We live in these caves, right? With this low lit environment with a computer looking at us all day. Actually, we are meant to get sunlight during the day. It's part of the trigger for arousal and wakefulness. And if we don't get enough light, not only do we not make enough vitamin D, but you don't actually have the increased alertness response that you need, which then drives the sleep response at night. If you increase the amplitude of the wakefulness cycle, you increase the amplitude of the sleep cycle. If you flatten it, you flatten it.
Your day starts before you go to bed. The same way your sleep starts when you wake up.
You got it. So the goals and focus in the beginning was really parasympathetic activation. So that idea of hyperarousal will help with RLS symptoms. It'll help with a lot of things. So after 6 o'clock, we don't want you to do heavy exercise. Go for walks, that kind of stuff. No big deal. Avoid social media use after 9 o'clock and really set yourself in a place to reduce the amount of arousal. Cordon off that half hour of time before you're going to go to sleep. Technology, light, noise, novelty-free zone. Take a shower that's warm. Do that sauna that's warm. Listen to some music that's relaxing. Put on candles rather than overhead light. Put yourself to sleep. It's like you would if you had a kid. Read yourself a story that's relaxing, that's entertaining, but doesn't have any real value for the day. And that's something that we can help you with in particular because you're scrolling around. Psychologically, it was about the stress impacting sleep. So the things I just mentioned will be very helpful for you in terms of reducing that hyperarousal component. And we suggested using at least 2 of the following: the meditation for 5 to 10 minutes, which could be also associated or incorporated with breathing exercises as well. We put yoga in there in particular because it's a meditative practice of activating muscles, which actually can help with RLS as well, if that becomes an issue. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about caffeine too. I know.
Sorry,
that's a tough one. It would be tough for me too. But again, these are experiments. Yeah. These are just to show yourself, does it affect it? Because if it doesn't, then that's okay. It's a null experiment.
Okay. I'm really curious.
Yeah. And we got a heck of a lot more up our sleeve.
The next stage was limiting caffeine intake, potentially just removing it entirely. Getting a massage once a week. I tried this cool robotic massage thing. And then temperature regulation, which would be doing a hot bath or a sauna that's not too hot where it's not stimulating, but just kind of warms my body up so that way I can quickly cool as I crawl into bed. Once that's done, I'll go into experiment number 3, and it all just depends on what we learn from each of these blocks and how to move forward. These are all custom to me and based on my results, so if you are really curious to learn about how you could optimize your sleep, make sure to go check out Absolute Rest down below. Click the link in the description to get a discount and help support the channel. The biggest ways that my sleep routine has changed has probably been I'm trying to exercise less at night. I'm not always the best at it, but I'm trying to make sure to stop by 6 p.m. unless it's a workout or some kind of class or something. No alcohol sleep is 10 times better. No caffeine. After 2 p.m. my sleep is a little bit better. And then social media use and bright lights, it's harder to measure. I think it's a little bit smaller of an impact, but I think it allows me to fall asleep faster and just stay more calm during my bedtime. It's so easy to be like, workout. But if you're checking those boxes off, we also need to remember that sleep is important and not following these trends of like, I'll sleep when I'm dead, because you'll die faster if you don't sleep well.